Right, hey guys, CG Inferno here today. Another talking video, which is quite surprising for me, honestly, but I did say I want to try and do more of them. Anyway, today's video is my impressions of the Adventure of Eliot, a new game that, a new game that's coming out soon. I say soon, but sometime next year. And a demo came out for it last week after the direct. Now, I somehow managed to miss this for like a good week, and I only just saw it today because it popped up on my feed, and I feel very stupid that I actually missed something like this. This demo, basically to cut it short, is really good, really good. Obviously there's some improvements that could be made here and there, but for the most part it is really good, and I'm going to explain why. So this one is going to be a bit more free-flowing as my previous ones. I wouldn't say I don't really like to do scripts, but at the same time I don't feel they are as needed, especially for like demo impressions, unless I've like go to an event and stuff and I have super amount of time to do it. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So the game itself, honestly, if you've played all the Zelda games and stuff, it more or less plays like that. It obviously has the graphics of a HD 2D remake that you see throughout these few games that have come out, like Octopath Traveler and a few others that I cannot remember off the top of my head. It seems to be quite this new style now. Well, I say new, but they seem to be using it quite a bit, to the point they've even, you know, got a dedicated social channel for it now. So I'm assuming they're going to go all in on this for like a certain amount of games as well. So pretty much you're thrown into the game and you're basically tasked with exploring a ruin which has appeared out of, I wouldn't say appeared out of nowhere, but basically causing concern for the townsfolk. So eventually, basically the story is just you and your fairy companion exploring the world, going to dungeons. I'm assuming there's going to be more stuff to it later down the line, but so far it's just pretty basic at the moment, which, to be honest, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it doesn't have to be super complex or anything, you know. If it's just your typical story where you go from point A to point B while exploring, I can enjoy that as well. In terms of combat, pretty good for the most part, quite straightforward. There is a variable, well, I say variable, quite a few weapons to be used in the game. Now, in the demo itself, you have the sword, or long sword I should say. You also have a scythe chain, you have bombs, you have an arrow and bow, and that's all you get for the demo. Obviously, I'm assuming there'll be more weapons to be used in the full game, but in the demo you got a fair amount to use, and you can only use 2 of them at the same time. However, you can customize it to the way you want it. So if you want to just use a bomb and arrow, you can do so, although bearing in mind you are going to run out of them very quickly. So it's advisable you actually do go like with a melee weapon as well. Now, these weapons can also be upgraded. Now, in the demo itself, only the longsword can be upgraded, and I'm assuming all the other weapons can get some sort of upgrade. There's also key items that you can find in the overworld as well, which can increase your capacity for, say, like your arrows, your bombs. You also have some shrines that you can see as well on the world map, where you can obtain like basically more health, similar to how you find it in like Zelda as well. So yeah, it is like Zelda-esque to an extent, like the older versions, not like the newer ones, which is pretty obvious when you can see it. But for the most part, it does it quite well. And now in terms of the difficulty is pretty good for the most part. Now, I played on hard and it wasn't too bad for the most part, bearing in mind that the enemies can be a bit annoying, especially later on. There is like hit collision as well, so if you're like just next to them, you walk into them, you will take damage as well. But for the most part, it wasn't too bad. I think on the first boss I died 4 times in my demo run. That's just me being, you know, stupid and going unga bunga half the time. But I feel like once I got a grasp of the game itself, because I was still getting used to it a bit, you know, it came a lot easier. So for like the second boss, I only died once, just to a gimmick. Well, I wouldn't call it a gimmick, but just me not paying attention. But you know, I feel it's pretty balanced for the most part. There is only normal and hard. I don't know if there'll be more in the full game. I would hope so. Maybe there might be something if you go New Game Plus or something, but that remains to be seen. Another positive note about the demo that I played is that there is voice acting, which, you know, some of these types of games you don't really get, but I'm glad that they are actually pushing more towards voice acting in these games, just to give it a bit more life, in my opinion. It is available in English and Japanese. I don't know if there'll be more languages, or voice languages I should say, in the full game. Probably not, just to save a bit of money, but now it's nice to have that option, because certain games don't really give you that type of option. Sometimes they don't even give you any voice acting at all, which, to be honest, is kind of a downside for me. But, you know, sometimes corners have got to be cut, you know, sometimes it's budget and everything, so I kind of understand that whole thing as well. But voice acting is there, really good so far. However, every campaign that you have seems to have the same issue with all well, I would say all, but companions that are like in the similar capacity. So if you played SMT5 or you played one of the older games, essentially this one talks a lot. Now sometimes it's good, but I feel it'll get to the point where you just be like, bro, can you like please shut up, or can I just mute you or something? Like, hell, sometimes I'm trying to fight and she's like, you know you have a shield, right? And I'm like, bro, are you really trying to like put me down? Like, I know I have a shield, you know, I know how to use it. I was like, really? And then, you know, sometimes she's repeating the same stuff over and over. Obviously, I would assume when you go into the full game, you go to different areas, she might say some different stuff, but maybe I wish there was an option to either tune it down or, you know, just completely remove it if she says it one time. Hopefully they could do that. I do not know, but yeah, that is probably one of the main annoying points of the demo so far. I mean, I don't hate the voice actress or anything, or the character. It's just that I feel that sometimes she's talking a bit too much, in my opinion. Now, in terms of the music, I found the music pretty enjoyable for the most part. You know, typical standard action RPG music here and there with, you know, the typical flutes and everything, you know, the happy music and all of that. I'm hoping later on the music does, I wouldn't say pick up, but there's like definitely more memorable tracks, because I won't lie, the past few games that I've played, some of them have not had the greatest of soundtracks at all, but I do have faith in this game, and hopefully they cook with the soundtrack. And to add on to the combat, which I completely slipped my mind until right now, is that there are basically magic sites that they call it, I believe. Well, basically it allows you to I wouldn't say gain new abilities, but it just amples your attacks. So you can have attack up, you can have defense up, you can have ways to deal more damage with your bow, your scythe chain. Basically you can mix and match all these different combinations you can get. You can either get them from like treasure chests, you can probably get them from mobs if you have a high enough drop rate, which you can get from just killing enemies and not taking damage. So if you're really good at that, you know, your item drop rate is just going to go through the roof. Or you can go back into town and use the shopkeeper to essentially use your memory or the fragments that you get, sorry, to, you know, synthesize some new ones. Obviously if you get duplicates, they'll just, I wouldn't say refund you the full amount, they'll give you something back, so that is nice to see as well. So I'm kind of curious to see what the full game will offer, because I definitely feel there'll be some broken combinations. Now I don't think it will be similar to like Expedition 33 where you can completely like break the game, but I feel there's a point where it will make stuff very, very, very easy. But you know, that remains to be seen until the game comes up. Now, with all that said and done, I am super excited for this game. Again, saying it, I don't know how I missed this for a week. Like, that is actually crazy, because usually I'm on top of this stuff. So yeah, clearly it just slipped on the radar. All right, fair enough, I didn't watch the direct properly last week, but yeah, I would have thought I at least seen it there. But hey, yo, better late than never. So if you guys got a Switch 2, I know not everyone does, I don't really need to at this point in time, I do say give the demo a chance. Hopefully it does come onto other platforms so people can give it a shot, because I definitely feel this is a game that a lot of people enjoy, especially if you like the whole 2D art style as well. But yeah, this has been CG Inferno. I hope you enjoyed this type of video. If you got any questions or you want to leave your own impressions if you played it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next